Watching my 10-year-old son beg for the latest toys always takes me back to one blazing Aussie summer in 1998. Back then, life was simple. Our whole world was one quiet suburban street, the smell of hot eucalyptus drifting through the air, squeaky push bikes lying on the footpath, and Henderson's little milk bar on the corner. There were four of us. Me, Oliver. I was the kid who couldn't stop solving problems. Mia was our fearless leader. If someone said something couldn't be done, she'd be the first to prove them wrong. Jack lived for food. If it was a pie, an ice cream, or a milkshake, he was already thinking about his next one before he'd finished the first. Then there was Noah, quiet, cautious, and usually riding a few meters behind the rest of us because he somehow managed to imagine danger around every corner. It was the middle of December, the kind of afternoon where the bitumen shimmered in the heat and your thongs felt like they were melting onto the footpath. We skidded our bikes outside Henderson's milk bar and pressed our noses against the freezer. Jack let out a long sigh. "Mate, I'd sell my bike for a mango paddle pop right now." Mia reached into her pocket and pulled out a single dollar coin. "Well, unless your bike's worth 25 cents, we've only got $1. Noah searched every pocket he had before producing one faded marble and an old rusty washer. "Think Mr. Henderson would swap these?" Jack laughed. "He'd probably charge you extra." I grabbed my notebook and did the maths. If we ask for 1 scoop and 4 wooden spoons, everyone gets a few bites. Before anyone could answer, the front door swung open. Old man Henderson stood there with his white mustache, flour-covered apron, and the same grumpy face he wore every single day. "If you lot leave another handprint on my freezer glass," he barked, "I'll have you cleaning windows till Christmas." Mia stepped forward and placed the dollar coin on the counter. "G'day, Mr. Henderson. Any chance we could get 1 chocolate scoop and 4 spoons?" He didn't even look at the coin. "Price went up last week. 1 scoop's $1.25. Jack frowned. "We're only 25 cents short." "And 25 cents short still means you can't buy it." He slid the coin back across the counter. "Come back when you've got enough." That walk back to our bikes felt longer than usual. When you're 10 years old, 25 cents can feel like the biggest problem in the world. Without saying much, we pedalled away from the shops and followed the dusty bush track running beside the old railway line. The cicadas screamed from the gum trees while a kookaburra laughed somewhere above us, almost as if it knew we'd just missed out. Nobody spoke for a while. Then Noah kicked at a clump of dry leaves. Clunk! He froze. "Ow!" He bent down, rubbing his foot. "I thought it was a rock." "It didn't sound like one," I said. Curious, I grabbed a stick and brushed away the dirt. Something dark slowly appeared beneath the leaves. Leather, a thick, weathered wallet with an old brass buckle. Jack's eyes nearly popped out. "No way!" He reached toward it before Mia grabbed his wrist. "Don't!" I carefully lifted the wallet onto a flat rock and opened it. The first thing we saw was money. Not a little, a thick stack of crisp $100 notes. More cash than any of us had ever seen. Jack whispered, "We're rich." But tucked beside the notes sat a small brass key. Underneath it rested a faded yellow envelope. Across the front, written in thick red letters, were 6 words that instantly made the air feel colder. "Do not open after 4 p.m. I looked at my Casio watch. 3:10 p.m. The words on the front wouldn't leave my head. "Do not open after 4 p.m. "We can't sit out in the open," Mia ordered. "To the treehouse, now." We pedalled hard to the big banyan tree at the edge of the scrub and scrambled up the wooden ladder into our hideout. Jack couldn't take his eyes off the wallet. "Mate, there's thousands in there." Mia folded her arms. So whoever lost it probably won't even notice if 25 cents disappears." She shot him a look. "That's not how stealing works." "I'm just saying, you don't have to." Noah stared nervously at the yellow envelope. "What if it's dangerous?" I checked my watch again. 3:20:11. The words on the front wouldn't leave my head. "Do not open after 4 p.m. "If someone wrote that," I said, "there had to be a reason." Jack scratched his head. "We could hand it in." "To who?" "The coppers." Mia shook her head. "The station's too far. By the time we get there, explain everything, and they decide what to do, it'll already be after 4. Noah looked between us all. "So what now?" I picked up the envelope. "If we're going to understand what's happening, we have to read it before 4. Nobody argued. The paper felt old and brittle as I carefully lifted the flap. Inside there were only 2 things, a faded photograph and a single folded letter. The photo showed a little girl, maybe 8 years old, smiling while holding a small carved wooden music box. She looked happier than anyone I'd ever seen. I unfolded the letter. The handwriting was shaky, almost like it had been written in a hurry. It read, "Dear Grandad, if you find this wallet, I'll be waiting near the station clock. The 4 o'clock train is taking me to Sydney for my hospital appointment. Please don't forget the little brass key. It opens the music box you gave me for my birthday. I don't want to leave without hearing it one last time. Love, Emma." Nobody said a word. Jack slowly lowered the wallet. The money didn't seem important anymore. Mia looked at the photo again. "She must have left this with her granddad." I nodded, and he must have dropped the wallet before getting to the station. Noah swallowed. "If he never finds it, she leaves without the music box." I looked at my watch again. 3:24. Only 36 minutes remained. Mia stood up so quickly she nearly knocked the wallet off the log. "What are we waiting for?" Jack blinked. "The station's miles away. So, our bikes have fallen apart. Then pedal harder." I packed everything back exactly as we'd found it. The money, the brass key, the photo and the letter. Nobody even looked at the cash anymore. Jack grabbed his handlebars. "I can't believe I'm saying this, but stuff the ice cream." That made Noah smile for the first time all afternoon. We jumped onto our bikes and pushed off as hard as we could. Dust exploded behind our tyres. The afternoon sun beat down on our backs while the bush track stretched ahead like it would never end. Every minute mattered now. Somewhere, an old man was probably searching every pocket he had. Somewhere, a little girl was sitting beside her suitcase, hoping her grandfather would arrive before the train left. I glanced at my watch one last time. 3:25. 35 minutes. It suddenly felt like the shortest amount of time in the world. We leaned over our bikes and pedaled harder than we ever had before. None of us knew whether we'd make it, but turning back wasn't an option anymore.
3:25 p.m. The 4 of us flew down the dusty bush track, tyres throwing red dirt behind us. The afternoon sun beat down hard, but none of us cared. We had one job now: get that wallet and key to the station before 4 o'clock. Jack, who usually stopped every few minutes for a drink or a snack, was somehow leading the pack. "Come on," he yelled over his shoulder. "Keep moving." Mia stayed close behind him while Noah and I pushed as hard as we could. The old railway crossing came into view. Then the warning bells started. Ding, ding, ding. The red lights flashed. The boom gates began to lower. A long freight train thundered toward the crossing. "No!" Mia shouted, squeezing her brakes. I checked my watch. 3:35 p.m. If we waited for the train, we'd lose precious minutes. Jack looked left and right. "There has to be another way." Noah pointed towards a narrow track disappearing into the scrub. "The creek bed." We all looked. A rough bush trail ran beneath the railway bridge before joining the road on the other side. "Our parents said never to use it," Noah added. Mia didn't hesitate. "Today isn't a normal day." She swung her bike onto the narrow track. We followed. Branches slapped against our arms as we bounced through deep ruts and loose rocks. Dry grass brushed our legs while clouds of dust filled the air. Suddenly, bang! Noah cried out. His back tyre had rolled over a piece of rusty fencing wire. The tyre went flat instantly. His bike skidded sideways, throwing him onto the dirt. "Ow!" We stopped beside him. Blood trickled down his scraped knee. The rear tyre was completely ruined. I looked at my watch again. 3:45 p.m. 15 minutes. Noah tried to stand before sitting back down. "You guys go. We're not leaving you," Mia said. "You have to." He pushed the wallet toward me. "If you stay, none of us make it." Jack looked at Noah. Then he dropped his own bike onto the ground. "Get on." "What?" "The luggage rack. You'll never pedal with both of us." "We're about to find out." Noah climbed onto the back while Jack grabbed the handlebars. "Hang on tight." Jack pushed down on the pedals. The bike wobbled. For a second, I thought they'd both fall over. Then it straightened. Slowly, then faster. Jack's legs pumped harder than I'd ever seen. Every hill looked steeper. Every metre felt longer. But he never stopped. We raced out of the creek bed and back onto the road. Ahead of us, beyond the gum trees, the red roof of the little country station finally appeared. "There it is," Mia shouted. I checked my watch. 3:52 p.m. We still had a chance. We sprinted the final stretch, dumped our bikes outside the station fence and ran for platform 1. The diesel engine was already idling. Steam drifted into the hot afternoon air. The guard stood near the last carriage with a green flag in his hand. I looked at my watch one final time. 3:57 p.m. 3 minutes left. Out of breath, covered in dust and sweat, we searched the platform. Then, near the old station clock, we saw them. Near the old station clock sat an elderly man with silver hair, round glasses, and a worn brown suitcase resting beside his feet. Next to him was the little girl from the photograph. She hugged a small carved wooden music box against her chest, her tears rolling down her cheeks, while her grandfather searched every pocket of his coat. His face was filled with panic. The train whistle echoed across the platform. The guard raised his green flag. "All aboard!" "We hear," Mia shouted as we sprinted towards them. The old man looked up, confused. We finally reached the bench, breathing so hard none of us could speak. I simply held out the wallet. Resting on top of it was the little brass key. For a moment, he just stared. Then his eyes filled with relief. "My wallet," he whispered, "and Emma's key." He grabbed the wallet with trembling hands before turning to the little girl. "Emma, look!" She gasped. "The key!" He placed it carefully into her hand. Emma smiled through her tears, slipped the little brass key into the music box and turned it gently. Click! The lid slowly opened. A soft little melody floated through the station. It wasn't loud, it wasn't fancy, but somehow every one of us stood perfectly still listening to it. Even the noise of the train seemed to fade away. The old man wiped his eyes. "I thought we'd lost it forever." He looked back at us. "Where did you children find my wallet?" "In the bush beside the railway track," Mia replied. "We found the letter and rode here as fast as we could." He shook his head in disbelief. "You've done more than return my wallet." He reached inside and pulled out a thick bundle of $100 notes. "Please, take some." Jack surprised all of us. He gently pushed the money back. "No thanks." The old man frowned. "You deserve it." Jack smiled. "We didn't do it for the money." For the first time all afternoon, the old man laughed. He searched through another pocket and pulled out a crisp $5 note, then let an old bloke buy 4 kids an ice cream. Mia accepted it with a smile. "Thanks." The station guard called out, "All aboard!" The old man lifted Emma's suitcase. She waved at us while still holding the music box close. As the train rolled away, the tiny tune drifted out through the open window until it disappeared into the warm afternoon air. None of us spoke for a while. We simply watched the train become smaller and smaller until it vanished around the bend. An hour later, we were back outside Henderson's milk bar. Mia placed the $5 note on the counter. Old Mr. Henderson looked at us, then at the dusty bikes parked outside. "You lot look like you've ridden halfway across New South Wales." Jack grinned. "Feels like it." Without another word, Henderson handed each of us a full scoop of ice cream. No extra spoons, no lectures, just 4 generous cones. As we sat on the front steps watching the sun sink behind the gum trees, everything tasted different. Maybe it was the chocolate, maybe it was the mango, or maybe doing the right thing simply made it the best ice cream we'd ever had. Looking back now, I know we could have kept that wallet. We could have bought every paddle pop in Henderson's freezer, but we'd have carried that choice for the rest of our lives. Instead, we rode home with empty pockets, scraped knees and tired legs, and somehow felt richer than ever. Because when you're a kid, the things you remember most aren't the toys you owned or the treats you bought, they're the moments that quietly shape the kind of person you grow up to be.